Hi, it's Ben with Blue Marlin Marketing again. And today I'm going to be actually bringing you part one of a or a three-part series, um, where we're actually going to build a Google Chrome extension. This Google Chrome extension is going to allow you to chat um, with or like on a YouTube video with the actual like contents of the video. So like a chat button that appears on your YouTube account on your computer, obviously, that um, will allow you to like ask questions about the video and it will return information about them. Um, you could also, which I'll be showing in these parts, also basically how to sell this as a service, how to start charging people to buy your extension. So almost like another micro SaaS type thing. But yeah, so let's get right into it. So the first thing I want to just show you guys is the actual automations that are built. So there's three automations, and in each of these, there's parts that I'll give like a total walkthrough for each of these, and then actually how I went and get this whole thing set up. But yeah, these are just like three make automations that we will be using during the development of this. As you can see, I already have them running, so we'll be able to test, and I'll show you guys like how mine works and how it's actually supposed to come out. One other thing to note is for ChatGPT, we're going to be using the O1 preview today. It's just like the newest model, like best reasoning. It works the best for this. I've done it with like GPT-4 or even 3.5 or anything like that. You can make this. It just depends on like your prompting and like how much time you have, that kind of thing. O1 will take longer to load, but the responses are a little bit better, at least as I've found. Um, so let me just go ahead and show you the actual first part of this is we're going to be having ChatGPT actually build us the extension so that something will actually be like showing up on the web page. So something that like showing up on the page and actually like is interactable. So the make stuff is all going to be like back end, and then this will be more of the front end, the actual functionality, making sure like everything is you can actually interact with it. So the first thing we do is have ChatGPT. We gave it a prompt, but before you go ahead and hit enter on this, there's two things that you're going to want to go ahead and do. So don't even look at this first part. The first thing you want to do is, at least for this extension, and then also one thing to note is that you can go back through and change like the actual appearance of this thing like later down the line. So if the first time you like create this code it comes out and you don't like the look of it, we'll be able to change that, and I'll show you some of that as well. But the first thing you need to do is actually when we're creating this, since we're going to be using a webhook, we're going to send this entire conversation to the webhook. So the way that you do that is actually when you're creating a new scenario, you're going to want to go create a custom webhook. And then you're just going to want to go ahead and name it whatever, like create a thing. Copy the address. So once you have it copied, or you can just copy the clipboard. And then you'll want to go ahead and put that in your ChatGPT as well. And then I'm just going to save you guys some time. So before, I'll save you guys some time. Just like here's like a good like design prompt, that kind of thing. So this is obviously not going to be the first, or this is going to be the first iteration of the code, and I'll scroll through here just so you guys can see some of my like error testing and things like that I had to do in ChatGPT in order to get this. But I'll also give you all my my prompts, and I'll actually just give you the code to like just as a download in our community. So as long if you don't feel like actually creating this on your own, you can go ahead and just get the code from us. And also, if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. So it's really cool because as long as you have this part where you like make sure you create all files separately, that makes it gonna make it really easy. So all you really need to do is first figure out like whatever sections there are. It doesn't really matter if you know the names right off the rip or not, but see it creates a styles CSS, a content JS, and a manifest JSON. So let me go ahead and pull this up. So here is actually what's in my folder for this. And as you can see, like pop-up and styles are, or pop-ups are not like in this first set of code that was returned. So obviously there's going to be things that like you change and edit and all that. And then I'll show you also how mine actually comes out and works. But yeah, so it's pretty simple. All you'll need to do is just make a folder that's, name it whatever you want to name it. YouTube AI is what I just called this one. And it's pretty simple. All you're going to do is copy the code from these. Copy, go to your notepad. You'll just paste it in there, right? File, save as. You'll just make sure it's the right route to where you want to go. And then you'll just save it as manifest.json, like that. Since I already have it saved, I won't do it. But pretty simple. You'll go ahead and just do that for 1, 2, 3, and however many other sections you'll have in the future as well, which I'll show you as we go down here. But also I've noticed that you can create in your folder, I haven't done this right now, but as the default prompt, it will give you like this option of a images folder in the extension folder. So if you wanted to have like images for your button or like images for like stuff on the actual extension, you can insert them like that. I haven't done that here just because we want to, just the most basic way to get it like up and running and actually working. But yeah, super cool. So then we go to the bottom, it'll obviously return all that. And then from there, it was just a YouTube video, and then from there we'll just go and see. Obviously, like I did some like error testing where like I would run it and I was like, it does this, blah blah blah, or and then let me go down to like a spot where like we could change the text of this, something like that. And then I'll make sure when I actually share this with you guys, I share like the end code, not like all the things before we went and tested. But yeah, so then all you really want to do is like see here is like, can you change the color to blue and green? Make sure that the pop-up button works, all those things. Awesome. And then as we'll go down here, let me get to it. Boom. I will show you guys. I'll actually just go to the bottom and put it in the code and put in the text. Okay. Here is some more. So I always just do it like this. So without changing anything else, please add the following. So when it's first loaded, show a mini portal that has an enter API key. So that's how you're actually going to be able to like make it so you can manage it basically. So you can actually keep track of like who has a key, if they're a valid user right now, if they paid or if they haven't paid, all those kind of things, like how to not waste your make credits also, so that it will be prompted them to buy instead of answering their questions whenever. But that's like the first thing. And the way you're going to get this for the buy now button is you'll just go to Stripe, create a payment link. And if you haven't done that before, pretty easy. You'll just go new. And if you have if you've already created a product, you'll just pick one of those. If not, you'll just go like here and hit add product. Sorry, there's a thing blocking it. You'll just have to click like add a new product and create it. But for us, we have the YouTube chat AI already. But since we've done this, I'm just going to exit out. Exit. And you would just go, once you have your link made, obviously, you just copy it. And then go ahead and put that in there as well instead of the buy now Stripe link there. Okay. The other thing you just need to make sure is once you've have that and the and like the webhook, you just make sure you just go ahead and actually test. So before you've gone ahead and like linked anything in here, I would suggest unlinking this, or before you even add this Airtable or anything like that, you just go ahead and run your thing once just to test it. And the way you'll do that is once you actually have all those files saved in a folder, it's really, really easy. You're just going to go into your Chrome extensions, and you're just going to hit developer mode up here. If it's not on, just simply click it. You'll click load unpacked, and then you'll just go to wherever you have it saved. Desktop is where I have mine. You'll click the one you want, and then just select folder, and it will create like this. And every time that you actually go and make a change in here and it writes new code, you'll just delete the old sections in your folder, save them again. So file new in your, don't save, in your notepad, you'll save them to into your, excuse me, You'll save them into your folder, and then once it's in your folder, you'll actually, for the one that you're working on, so YouTube chat, you'll just hit this refresh button. Pretty simple. So, just to like show you guys how the button actually looks. So this is a different extension. This other one at the bottom I've installed, obviously. I'll have to mess around. I'm still working on that, but another thing coming in the future will be a chat with website feature. But as you can see, we'll just go like this, and then we'll just say like, what is the most important thing to note in this video? Send. And I'll show you exactly like how this is working. So this is actually running in the background of all that. All these things are testing to make sure that it actually has like a valid key, all that. It seems the transcript for the meeting mentioned is not available. It's a challenge to identify. But yeah, so basically, so this is an example of a return because I've taught, or I've like put in my ChatGPT, which is actually like the brain of this also, which I'll show you in Make. I told it that if it can't locate something, to be like honest with them basically, so that it's doing this. But for some videos, like depending on the way that they're set up, obviously the bot will function better or worse, but pretty simple chat. And then it's cool because the first time you click this chat button, it will actually be storing and it will prompt you for that API key. And if your API key is invalid, then when you type here, it would actually send them down a different route in the Make. So I guess let me just go into the in-depth of like the actual basics of getting all this functioning, so you could actually like get the testing here. But the thing to note is the next videos, I'm actually going to go ahead and show you how to integrate like the API and use an Airtable, which I've created for you guys, which I'll show you the formula that I've got in here, and then how we actually create the unique IDs, and then also just like what sections and all that kind of thing. I'll go more into that in depth in that next time, and how to actually like track the payments and that kind of thing. But for right now, since it's running, I'll just go ahead and show. So the first thing you want here is a search records. So once your Airtable's created, that will be the next thing. And then the cool thing is in your so you can actually like, we could run this without the Airtable, but I'm just going to leave it in there for now. Then the next thing is our router, and then a webhook response. So a webhook response, we just called it like some random air name, and then it says you must have an active subscription, please purchase that. So what it's going to basically see is if this is valid in here, which depending on what it is, it would be or it wouldn't be, it will send them a message. So like if they've already entered in their API key and bought once, like a month or two down the line, if they're like not renewing their subscription or something, the next time, like once it's been the days or whatever when it's expired, it will actually run, like they'll type in asking their normal question, blah blah blah, and instead of like going into the code and actually replying, it will just send them that to buy it again, basically, or to like update their payment or whatever they need. The second thing is, so if they're actually a paying customer, which I've added that filter here, so paying customer, and then just the unique ID, if it exists, if there is one, we just go ahead and hit OK. And then this is running some Python code, and what this Python code actually is doing is taking the website URL or the video URL and transcribing it. I'll go ahead and show you guys in our community below. You can actually just download or copy and paste this actual code in here, obviously, but or this whole automation will be downloadable, so you can just download it. You won't have to actually retype in any of this or copy and paste or anything. But just for those of you who aren't in there or don't want to check it out that way, all you're going to have to do is go back to ChatGPT. Same sort of thing. I would open a new chat, either 4.0 with Canvas or 0.1 preview, or any of these are really good ones. Oh, yeah, so no, I didn't want to do that. I want to go back. But anyway, that's what you would want to do, create a new chat in there, and basically just test out stuff until you get something that you're running this with no errors. One thing to note also is just make sure that you ask your ChatGPT to supply you with like the requirements for your code. Just say like, hey, could you give me some comments with the requirements? And then also it looks like they want you to put it in this format, but I've noticed that it never does. It's always just a plain like string, just the text, and then if you have another one, you just go right below it. And then obviously in the code, if you have it add comments as well, it can tell you like where to put your video or where to put your thing, but I'll show you actually. So you see what our webhook is receiving is our API key, our video ID, and our video URL. So in the video, using the video URL, this is going to get the transcript. And then you're also going to want to make sure that you're going to be running this and it's going to work, but there'll be like no output showing up. So you want to make sure that you actually feed ChatGPT this piece of information right here, just so it knows how the output actually has to look. Otherwise, it's going to be like running successfully, like you're like, but why is nothing showing up? And it will just because the formatting is wrong of the output. That's just how Make has it. But yeah. So our next part is the actual brain. We use 4.0, and the only thing about that is obviously with using Make, you have to have API tokens. They're really cheap. 4 is probably the best one for this, is what I've noticed. You can buy tokens like 3.5 ones also, but 4, the user's role. And then you can go ahead and pause and copy this if you'd like, or follow along, or then again, if you download this, it'll be available. It'll already be filled in. But basically, it's really just giving and providing instructions and context to the actual information I've provided it. There's 3. I'll try and go slow enough so anyone can pause. 5, 6, 7. And then here's just a couple other things. And then here's where I actually put the conversation history. And an important thing to note for this, however many long you make this, is like how many that it will remember for any given like one video chat, basically. So if you're on the same video, you can make this 100 conversation history long if you wanted to. It's just copy and pasting these. But the thing that you do here, so let me just show you how this works, is so you want the actual conversation. Oh, let me go back. You want the actual, we go down here. You want the sender, so it knows that it's like from whatever person. And the second thing you want is the actual text. So that's like the question. And the reason we number these is because that's like for not conversation, sender 1, text 1, that kind of thing. And then all I would do is copy and paste this basically. And then just go to the bottom here and paste these over and over and over again until you get to whatever number you want. And then all I did for this part where you get the transcript is I just click this, result data. If it's like that, I'll just drop it down. So from your Python code, whatever the output is. And then you can actually go ahead and put your max tokens as 0 here. So basically it will just use however many it needs to use to get it done. Like whatever the max for whatever model you use in GPT-4, it will just use whatever the maximum in that range is. Same with you if you change your one of these, obviously, if it'll load. Your different one of those. But then you just go ahead and hit OK. And then the next thing is pretty simple. You also just need to make sure that your webhook, you'll notice that like you'll ask some questions on here and stuff, and it will seem like everything's running right, but you won't actually get any display. So what you'll actually want to do is first, you just, this number doesn't really matter for this status. I just left it as 200. You first want to get obviously the body. So you can do the result, or you can go down here and click content, which is actually what ChatGPT is writing. And then what you'll need to do is in this section, there won't be here, like this will be X'd out, and you'll open up this, you'll hit show advanced, and you want your content type to be like exactly like that. And then this should be your value, text or plain. So all that means is what's coming into this webhook and is going to be plain text. Like it's just English. It's just regular writing. It's there's no other formatting to it. It's not like JSON or HTML or something along those lines. You just need to make sure that. And also in your like prompting, if it's still not working after you've changed that, just make sure that you like ask ChatGPT, can you say like, hey, can you make sure that my webhook can actually receive plain, or my webhook will send out plain text so that in the chat window text can appear, that kind of thing. And then it's more just trial and error, prompting, all that kind of thing. But yeah, so pretty simple there. Once you have this going, then obviously you'll be able to actually use your chatbot in here. So right now, if you have it set up how as I do, you won't actually be able to like run this successfully. But if you go ahead and removed this Airtable thing, and you just take that out, and then if it's prompting you for an API key, just like put in something random, you should be able to run test. Or you can also go back and hit like say, hey, could you remove the API key function so that I could test, something along those lines. But yeah, I'll have another video coming out soon for you guys, where I'll be covering the actual Airtable and how to make this how to actually charge for this. Because right now, if you remove that API function and then you don't want like the payments, obviously you could just take the Stripe thing out so that it's you're not linking to like a Stripe, so it's a free thing. Like there's no prompting for payment or whatever. Like if you just want to build this for yourself, you would just go ahead and take this Airtable out. You could even remove like the webhook where it's not where it's like a bad case, for example. You could go ahead and remove the router, the Airtable, all that, and just have your custom webhook send your URL to your code kit and then your brain, and then just return it. So if that's just like for personal use, you could go ahead and do the same thing, and you wouldn't actually need to have these other two modules that I'll be building for you guys. So in the next one, I'll be showing you just how to set up the Airtable and how to get the payments going. But yeah, if you have any questions until then or comments, feel free to leave them below. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah, that really, really helps us out. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day, and I'll see y'all again soon. Have a good one.